Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of At the Buzzer Sports, where we talk all things basketball and football all the time. Yesterday, we dropped a video talking about who are the biggest winners this offseason. Now, today, we're going to be talking about who the biggest losers are this offseason. I'm going to be going on a rant on why these teams have lost the offseason, and it's going to be pretty fun. I'm very excited to get this video out. So, with that being said, let's talk about our first team. You know, a lot of these teams I am about to get into have championships within the recent years. Like the Denver Nuggets is a team I'm going to talk about. The Los Angeles Lakers are a team I'm going to talk about. The Golden State Warriors are a team I'm going to talk about. We talk about Kawhi Leonard. Let's really think about the last time Kawhi Leonard had a fully healthy playoff run. And when we really do the math, this year he was hurt in round one. Last year he was hurt in round one. The year before that, when they made the Western Conference Finals push, hurt in the Western Conference Finals. The last time Kawhi Leonard was fully healthy for a playoff run, they blew a 3-1 lead. And I know I see a lot of people on social media talking about, yeah, maybe less is more. Maybe without Paul George, you can get the full James Harden. Maybe without Paul George, Kawhi Leonard won't be as injured. This team's window was closed when Paul George left. This team window closed when they signed Russell Westbrook. Their window closed as soon as Kawhi Leonard got hurt against the Phoenix Suns. This window's been closed. This window has been closed. And just because the Clippers didn't want Paul George to go to Golden State, they could have gotten back Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody. They also could have got some picks. But instead, you lose him for nothing, and now it's Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. You got Derrick Jones Jr., you got Kevin Porter. You're looking at getting Miles Bridges. Anything you can do to fill those seats up, right? And anything you can do. But it's like, I can take being an off-season loser. Is at least you have a championship. At least some of these teams have some hardware they can look at. Some of their guys have MVP trophies. Some of their guys have championships. Some of their guys have broke the all-time scoring record. What have the Clippers done? Individually and team-wise, what has the Clippers done? What has the Clippers done? What can they say they have done? Oh, well, we have a positive record against the Lakers. We beat the Suns in Game 1. That was pretty cool. We got to the Western Conference Finals. That was pretty cool. We signed Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. All these guys are from L.A. What have the Clippers really done to be a relevant basketball team, to be a serious team that you would be scared of? The last time I was scared of the Clippers was in 2020. That is the last time I was scared of them. Because why? They were healthy. They were healthy. And it's not even the fact that they have had a bad roster construction. It's not the fact that they have a bad coach. It's none of that. You have a number one guy who has proven to carry teams to a championship. He did it in 2019. So not wrong, not mad at you for that. And when you have the chance to pick up a guy in Paul George, you jump at that opportunity. So I'm not mad at the fact that you went out and got Kawhi Leonard and you got Paul George. Will not be mad at that, because in the end of the day, you thought you were putting your organization in the best situation possible to go and win a championship. So therefore, I cannot be upset at it. But what upsets me is you had the chance to send Paul George out, bring in some young talent. Maybe you do the same for James Harden. Maybe you do the same for Kawhi Leonard. Maybe you do the same for Russell Westbrook. I don't know how much you're going to get for James Harden or Russell Westbrook, but you can send them out. You can send them out, and you can restart this the right way. But instead, you said, no, PG, we're not going to send you anywhere that has to do with Golden State, anywhere that has to do with the Western Conference. We are going to decline this trade that's going to give us Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, some picks, and we can start fresh. And it's like, now you really can't tank. You don't have your picks. It's no point of tanking. And there's no real star that can get you your picks back. OKC does not want anything you have, because they're about to have some really good picks coming up. And either it can turn into some young talent or some superstars. Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to talk about a lot of teams in this video. Well, not a lot of teams. I'm going to talk about a few teams. And there's 3 teams I'm going to talk about that has some hardware to show for losing this offseason. You know, the Lakers have hardware. I'm going to talk about them. The Nuggets, even though it's not their fault they're offseason losers, they have some hardware. Their best player has 3 MVPs and a Finals MVP. The Lakers' best player has 4 MVPs. He just broke the all-time scoring record and broke 40,000 points in that uniform, and has brought a championship to this team. Steph Curry has flipped the Golden State Warriors narrative around. He has hardware to show. The Clippers don't have any hardware for giving away all their picks. They are an offseason loser. They have lost this offseason. And when we look at how good the Western Conference is getting, what's the point in trying to compete? Oh, wait, you don't have your picks. So in the end of everything, I can really understand why you did what you did. You trade for, or you actually signed Kawhi Leonard coming off of the best season he has ever had. And then you trade for Paul George, who has probably had a very good tenure with the Oklahoma City Thunder. I mean, it wasn't really your fault to be the team that would have some of the worst injury luck in the NBA. And then you go sign more injury-prone guys like Russell Westbrook and James Harden. But what really pissed me off was you could have traded Paul George to Golden State and got some young pieces to where this isn't a lost cause. But you let your pride get in the way of things, and now you are out of some really young talent. And this isn't the only Los Angeles team we're going to be talking about. The next team we're going to be talking about is the Miami Heat. I really think that some of these organizations think the fans are stupid. They really think the fans are stupid. Pat Riley came out and said if the Miami Heat were healthy, he believes that they could have competed with the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to tell you this now, even if Jimmy Butler was healthy, Boston beats Miami in 6. And we say, a lot of people say, yeah, Miami has beaten Boston before. This is a completely different team. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Boston was head and shoulders better than the entire league this season. And Pat Riley really had the nerve to say, we could have competed. So based off of the fact that you guys think you guys can compete now, you're not going to sign anybody in free agency. It's not even the point that you don't have any movable pieces. You have guys like Duncan Robinson who can be moved, Tyler Hero who can be moved, Terry Rozier who can be moved, Jimmy Butler who can be moved. I feel as though you have a young core to the point where you trade Jimmy Butler to the Houston Rockets, bringing a guy like Cam Whitmore, you guys are set for the future. Bam is still young. Jaime Jaquez is a great rookie, about to be into his second year. Nikola Jovic, diamond in the rough. You have plenty of pieces. But no, Miami is going to stick on to Jimmy Butler to the point where there's a decent chance we can make a run, or there's a really good chance we can get knocked down in the first round. It's either or. Miami either overexceeds expectations or they get bounced in the first round. It's either or. There's no in the middle. With Miami. No in the middle. I'm sorry if my audio is bad. I keep bumping into the mic because I'm so passionate about this. Anyway, back to what I was saying. A lot of these GMs, a lot of these owners think the fans are stupid. They think we're stupid. You cannot sell us on saying that they think they could have contended. If you guys would have went back to the finals, it would have been the same thing over and over and over again. Miami, they play shitty through the regular season. They play garbage through the regular season. Then they get to the playoffs. They look halfway decent. And then when they play a real caliber team, they be like, oh, we still need something. Yeah, we knew that. You needed something when the season started. But they ignore it. They go 43-39. They either over exceed or they get bounced in the first round. It's just how Miami is. And then they go into the offseason and they do nothing. Because they think Jimmy Butler's just going to wake up and be a top 5 player in the league. They think Bam Adebayo is just going to take this elite scoring jump to the point where he's one of the best number 2s in the NBA. They think Tyler Hero is going to take that Bradley Beal on the Wizards type of jump to where they have an elite big 3. They can go toe-to-toe with Boston. They could go toe-to-toe with New York. They could go toe-to-toe with Denver. They could go toe-to-toe with Dallas, and they cannot. And they are lying to their fans. Jimmy Butler is 34 years old. And this isn't even like a 34. It's like, okay, we can still get 2 more. No, this is an old 34. Jimmy Butler's 34 looks like he's 38. And it is extremely irresponsible to be banking your entire franchise on Jimmy Butler. We knew he could be a number 1, like, leader-wise, but he cannot be a number 1 offensively. And the fact that you are trying to lie to your fans and say that he is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, this is another team where it's like, blow it up. Don't even blow it up. Just trade Jimmy Butler. I know not a lot of people are going to want Jimmy Butler. Let him go. You guys are good at drafting. You have the best coach in the league. Trade him. Trade him. Especially if he wants all that money. Trade him. Trade him. What are you doing? Okay, the last 3 teams we're going to talk about have championships. They have championships. So I'm not going to be light. I'm not going to be light on 2 of these teams. One of these teams I'm going to be pretty light on. The first team we're going to talk about is the Denver Nuggets. Now, the Denver Nuggets losing KCP this year and then losing Bruce Brown the year before, it's obviously not the best thing to see. You're about to put a lot of trust into these young guys. Last year, I thought it was okay because they're just coming off the bench, but one of these young guys is going to come in and start at the 2. Whether it's Strother, whether it's Christian Braun, whether it's Peyton Watson, or Deron Holmes is not going to start at the 2. But how much minutes do you really expect Deron Holmes to have? I heard Reggie Jackson is not on the team anymore, so that sucks. Or you start Justin Holiday if he's still on the roster. I have to check. But this is not a championship type of thing. You don't keep losing some of your most valuable pieces on a championship team and then expect to go back to the championship, especially when these teams are getting better. Like last year, we just saw that having the best player in the league is not enough, especially in the West. That shit may work in the East. That shit may work in the East because LeBron made it look easy. Having the best player in the league in the East may work, but this is the West. This is the West. It's been a gauntlet. It's going to be a gauntlet. Like, it's been a gauntlet for a very long time. It's going to be a gauntlet for a very long time. Look at these young teams. These young teams, the West is still going to be good. The West is still going to be good. Like, the West is going to be the more dominant conference for the next 15, 20 years. Victor Wembanyama's still there. The Thunder are very young. The Rockets are very young. It looks like the Utah Jazz are about to get the first pick in the draft next year. They're going to grab Cooper Flagg. It's going to be even worse. The West is going to be crazy. The West is going to be crazy for a long time. So I don't want anybody to sit here and think that the West is going to be any easier than it already is. Especially if we look at a team like the Boston Celtics, who brought back Derek White, brought back Jason Tatum, brought back Drew Holiday. They bring back their guys. Like, their guys are in there drafting guys to play. Like Jordan Walsh. I can bet money. Jordan Walsh is going to be one of the best role players in the NBA. I just listen. Baylor Shireman, great role piece. These guys are going to be phenomenal role players. Phenomenal role players coming up. They're going to be phenomenal, especially Jordan Walsh. I'm high on Jordan Walsh. I'm high on him. And that's just one of the things I want to talk about with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, you're a team that won a championship, and you knew how important Bruce Brown was, and you learned the lesson on Bruce Brown last year. So why would you let KCP walk? I mean, in the end of the day, I get why you let KCP walk, but you should have extended him. And I don't know, maybe they really feel high about Peyton Watson and Christian Brown, but I'm not high enough on them to let KCP walk. I'm not high enough on them. And I really hate saying this word, but where are you going to get the point of attack defender from that can shoot on the level of KCP? Where are you going to find that? Those don't just grow on trees. I mean, they kind of do, but that's not something easy to find. Okay, that's enough for the Denver Nuggets. In the end of the day, they are the least amount of losers in these teams because these teams, their window is closed. All these teams I just mentioned, their window is shut, except the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets can still go win a championship because they have Nikola Jokic. But the rest of these teams, their window is shut. I don't care who you bring in. I don't care what coach you hire. I don't care whose son you pick up. These windows are shut. They're not winning another championship. And speaking of that, the next team we're going to be talking about is the Los Angeles Lakers. We really have to talk about Rob Pelinka like he is not good. He's not. And this is my team. I am a Laker fan. And we have everything in front of us. To go get some guys. LeBron James opened up and said, I'm going to take a pay cut. So we can sign somebody with our full mid-level exception. Let's talk about some of the guys that were eyed. Jonas Valanciunas, who signed with the Washington Wizards for less than the mid-level exception. Klay Thompson. We gave Klay Thompson more money than the Dallas Mavericks did. We did. And he still did not sign. He still did not sign. That says a lot. When it comes with when all the drama that comes with LA, all the drama that comes with LA, you just can't, no. And it's like, sometimes I wish I could go back in time and be like, look, bro, do not pick the Lakers. It's just too much. It's just too much. I wish I'd rather be a fan of the Magic or something. But you know what? I'm not even gonna say that on record because I'm gonna ride with my team because I love Kobe. Anyway, you can hire JJ Redick. You can bring in Dalton Knecht, which is a great pick. Don't get me wrong. Dalton Knecht was a great pick. I think JJ Redick is going to be a phenomenal coach. But when we talk about bringing in this team, we do not have the roster to be running it back. We don't. We do not. We do not have the roster to be running it back. Rui Hachimura, tradable contract. Gabe Vincent, tradable contract. D'Angelo Russell, tradable contract. Why haven't they been moved? Why haven't they been moved? There are some pieces we can go get. Day'Ron Sharpe is one of the league leaders in offensive rebound percentage. Go get him. We were ranked 30th in offensive rebounds. Go get Day'Ron Sharpe. We also need perimeter defense. Go get Dorian Finney-Smith. You could send Rui Hachimura over to Brooklyn and bring in Dorian Finney-Smith and Day'Ron Sharpe. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You can do that. You can do that. If you don't want Day'Ron Sharpe, send Rui over there for Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson. Send D'Angelo Russell over to Atlanta for Clint Capella. And give me DeAndre Hunter as well. There are trades that could be done. And they're just not happening. They're not happening. And I'm really trying to understand, because when you have a player in LeBron James, when you have a player in Steph Curry, you need to be winning a championship. There are teams out here that are just getting better and better and better and better, and we're not moving. We don't have LeBron in 2016 to where we can run it back and we still have a very good chance to win the championship. We can't do that anymore. We cannot do that anymore. LeBron is 40 years old. He's 40. He is 40 years old. LeBron's not 31 anymore. He needs help. This is not Cleveland LeBron. He needed help when he came to LA. And it's just, I'm telling you, Rob Pelinka's on fraud watch, man. Rob Pelinka's on fraud watch. Now, there's another team, in the last team I actually want to talk about, which is the Golden State Warriors. Now, one thing I'm not going to blame the Golden State Warriors is they actually tried. You know, they tried to bring in Paul George. That didn't work because the Clippers are salty. But it's like, you should have been done this. Like, some of this young talent should have been out the door so you can bring in some real talent around Steph Curry. Because as long as you have Steph Curry, you are on his timeline, which means you are trying to win a championship. I mean, you drafted James Wiseman with the number 2 pick. That was a whiff. You should have traded that. You should have traded Moses Moody. You should have traded Jonathan Kuminga, who had to basically demand a trade for him to get minutes. And then once he's shown the organization that he could play ball, you still didn't trade him. So it's like, now you tried to play best of both worlds with Steph Curry, and now you don't have a world. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but you trade Jordan Poole, who was really on the up, and you just paid him for Chris Paul, who you ended up waiving. And then James Wiseman, your number 2 pick, is not on the team anymore. Klay Thompson, the guy that you started all this with, or at least the guy, a part of the 3 people you started all this with, is now gone. And it's like, now you're about to ask guys like AirPods, maybe Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton, to try and fill the role that Klay Thompson did. And that's you're just not going to get that out of those guys. Those guys bring a completely different type of game to this organization, and that's just not what they bring. So now the Golden State Warriors are probably going to miss the playoffs again unless they bring in another type of guy, because I don't feel as though this team is good enough to make it to the playoffs, especially in this stacked Western Conference. Anyway, those are all of the playoff losers that I have to talk about. If you guys like this type of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Peace.